Ongaku concept.
Oftentimes, I'll get messages from people asking me, hey, is this a good chord progression, or will these chords work well in this type of song? And I always have to answer, what key are you in? A chord, or even a sequence of chords, without context, is just that, and there isn't much information to be gained from it. For example, this is an E-flat major 7 chord. Without knowing what key you're in, that could sound like anything. I mean, it has a certain sound on its own, but let's put it into context in a couple songs and see how that changes. First, I want to show you Dearly Beloved from the Kingdom Hearts soundtrack. You can see how it has this really relaxed, almost dreamlike feel to it, right? Now take a listen to Yakusoku from the Kanan soundtrack. This is the same chord, but it's a lot more tense sounding. Same chord, same 4 notes, but it plays a different role in each of those songs. Dearly Beloved is in the key of E flat, so the E flat major 7 chord is the 1 chord. The 1 chord is a place of rest, so it has this relaxed sound to it. Yakusoku is in the key of D, so the E flat major 7 chord is the flat 2 chord, and that carries a lot of tension with it. Now when I say 1 or flat 2 or something, I'm referring to Roman numeral analysis. Roman numeral analysis is a form of chord notation where you label chords by their place in the key. So if there are 7 naturally occurring chords in a key, then there are only 7 numbers to work with. In any major key, the 1, 4, and 5 chords are major, the 2, 3, and 6 chords are minor, and the 7th chord is diminished. Major chords are written with uppercase letters. Minor chords are written in lowercase or in uppercase letters with a lowercase m to the side to represent minor. Diminished chords are also written in lowercase letters with a little degree superscript to the side, or just dim, short for diminished. If you have to work with chords that are outside of the key, you can alter these numerals to account for that. So if you need to make the 4 chord minor, you can write it as IV with a lowercase m to the side, or just as a lowercase iv. Putting a sharp sign before a chord symbol will raise it 1 semitone. Putting a flat sign before a chord symbol will lower it a semitone. Roman numeral analysis is a really good thing to learn, and I'm going to explain why in just a second. In the case of Dearly Beloved, the entire song is a looping sequence of 6 chords, all in the key of E flat major. The progression goes A flat major 7, B flat, E flat major 7, then A flat major 7, B flat, C minor 7. So to write this in Roman numerals, we would go 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 6, or to be more specific, 4 major 7, 5, 1 major 7, 4 major 7, 5, 6 minor 7. So if you remember how I said that an E-flat chord means nothing without context, that's not the case with Roman numerals. That's because they're relative to the key that they're in. The 1 chord will always sound like the 1 chord, regardless of the key. The 2 chord will always sound like the 2 chord. The flat 7 major 7 chord will always sound like the flat 7 major 7 chord, regardless of the key. If this doesn't quite make sense to you, try thinking of it this way. In the key of C, the first chord is C major. In the key of F, the first chord is F major. Relative to the key, these chords sound the same. The 1 chord is going to have the same sort of feeling of rest or arrival in any key. Aside from being a useful and convenient way to refer to chords and progressions, there's another very, very practical application of this. Many musicians feel like they can't get the music that's in their heads out onto their instrument or software or whatever because they can't figure out what the chords are that they hear in their heads. Learning to see chords and notes by their place within the key will change that. I know because when I learned how this worked like 2 years ago, all of a sudden I started making sense of everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know what things are now. So, listen to songs, listen to lots of songs, figure out the keys and figure out the chords. You don't need to be super specific, just try and figure out the basic chords in the songs. Then apply numerals to the chords based on the key. If you're not handy on your chords yet, just Google what chords are in the key you're working in and apply the Roman numerals accordingly. Again, if you ask me what an F minor 7 flat 5 chord sounds like, I can give you a vague description, but I can't tell you what it's going to sound like in context with your song. But if you ask me what a minor 7 flat 5 chord sounds like on the sharp 4 degree, I can tell you instantly what that's going to sound like and whether it's going to work or not. Pretty soon you'll start to recognize each of these chords just by the way that they sound. And the ability to recognize chords by their sound alone is one of the best tools a musician can have. This week's album of the week is the Kanan original soundtrack, mostly composed by Jun Maeda and Shinji Orito, who you might recognize as having worked on the Clannad soundtrack. This is a really good album, lots of really nice songs on here, really good for analysis as well. So, check that out. If you've got any questions, let me know, and I will see you guys next week.